It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Well, remember when we first started working together?
Yeah.
A long time ago. This has to be 19 or 20 years ago.
We're harking back now.
Yes, we're harking back to a pretty long time ago, almost a couple of decades ago.
Yeah.
And there was, I remember there was a number of stories on AI and robots taking over. And then the question being asked, should robots have rights? And then a story came out that said by 2056, robots will have rights.
Yes. And we have integrated that point into any liberal discussion that we've had, which is most of our discussions over the years, that, well, it won't matter because by 2056, robots will have rights. And at one point I said, I want to say it may have been 2018-ish. I said, no. It's going to be a lot sooner than 2056, the way it's going.
Well, there it is. There's the headline in National Review. Robots should not have rights. Now, in Newsweek, a transhumanism popularizer, whatever the hell that is, a transhumanism popularizer, and California gubernatorial candidate Zoltan Istvan argues that we should give...
Are you speaking English?
Yes, that we should give robots rights so they will show mercy on us.
By the way, that is such a liberal approach.
From his article, Why Giving Rights to Robots Might One Day Save Humans. I guess if he's a California gubernatorial candidate, I don't think he's a Republican candidate.
No, because the last Republican knew all about the robots. It's going to take over. Don't go in there. There's a bomb in there. Come with me if you want to live.
The discussion about giving rights to artificial intelligence and robots have evolved around whether they deserve or are entitled to them. Juxtapositions of this with women's suffrage and racial injustices are often brought up in philosophy departments like the University of Oxford, where I'm a graduate student. This is this is the author of the article.
Yeah.
This is a problem with all non-human rights activists. They continually compare their favored supposed rights bearers with human beings who were denied equality in the past. But those denials were wrong and in some cases evil because inherent equals were treated as if they were unequal. As for AI robots, it seems to me that for an entity to have any claim to inherent moral value, it must be a living organism. I can't believe we're having this discussion, but robots and AI are machines.
Wait, though, but has someone already made the point or tried to make the case that they can feel pain? Remember when they said quit eating meat? Because you're eating animals. Animals have a face, and which is, by the way, the main reason I eat animals.
Then
because they have a face.
Remember, it went a step further. University of Buffalo back about 20 years ago. That said plants feel pain.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
So we, a lot of people started, just eating vegetables, and then all of a sudden, no, they can feel pain.
Right. So you
and
can't.
The crunching sound from your salad is the screaming from the romaine and the kale, and begging for mercy.
And we said, because we are always about the utmost morality, that people should stop eating meat and anything that's grown out of the ground.
Exactly. Look, I'm with Nate Bargatze. This is an older bit of his, but he talks about, you're supposed to eat the cage free, free range chicken? And he says, no. He goes, think about it. Because that free-range chicken was having a great life. Then all of a sudden, no. You know, the chicken that's kept in a cage is like, no, you know what? I'm ready to go. I'm with Nate Bargatze on that.
I just love this. So as for AI robots, it seems to me that for an entity to have any claim to inherent moral value, it must be a living organism. Robots and AI are machines. AI is a slave to its computer programming. It is not conscious and can never feel, as doing so requires a functioning body. An AI robot may be worth millions, but has no greater moral value than a toaster and has no claim to equality whatsoever. But Wesley says, why should life matter in granting rights? Inanimate objects are different in kind from living organisms. They do not possess a blah, 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 blah. I mean, all I do is go back to remember the tree worshipers. Remember we played that audio and the one woman. Look at this rock.
Yeah.
And look at this incredible rock and the life force of this particular rock.
The amazing life it's had.
Man. You know,
now, I'll say
we got a ban
rocks,
pot.
I'll say those rocks have probably had a more exciting life than I have. But that's not saying much.
We got to ban pot. I think this is all because of illegal drug use.
Well, you know that.
But it's not pot, it's acid.
But
people are tripping.
Well, they're smoking something. But you know that when that crunching sound, that when you roll that joint, do they even roll joints? Do they roll joints anymore? Does anybody roll a joint anymore? Do they still sell zigzag papers?
Wow, that's a great point.
I don't even know. I don't know what's going on with these kids these days.
What are these kids?
With their edibles.
How are these kids doing drugs these days?
With their edibles.
What are the kids doing?
Yeah. What's that? That's not Captain Crunch you're having for breakfast, is it?
Here's one. Does anybody do a bong anymore?
I don't know. They probably converted those into planters to grow their weed.
You have to stop growing pot because you're killing plants.
No, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, the crunching sound as you're rolling a joint, you know, for us older folks, is the pain that the weed is feeling. I mean, we could sit here and do this liberal BS all day. It's so much fun to do because they're just completely delusional. It's like being in a daycare filled with children whose parents drop them off and plan to never come back. I mean, they're just they just keep talking and talking as if it's true, because they will make at some point. There were a couple of TV shows about this. I think the one from Great Britain was called Humans? I'll have to go back and look. But very human-like robots, and then all the ethical questions of, well, do you treat them with respect or do you not treat them with, you know? And it's in reality, it's intriguing to watch it in a fictional setting, or maybe to have the discussion. But the left takes it and assumes, again, and we've been doing this now for years. It was long ago when they said robots will have rights in 2056.
I remember the discussion.
Well,
and then this discussion interested me because, being single and my, well-known affinity for having problems with women, and this was, especially it was guys with robot women,
right?
You know, and I think wasn't that in Star Trek with Data?
Yeah,
that was that happened with Data.
yeah, right.
And I said, no, come on, that's creepy.
Uh-huh.
But when I heard about, the AI women, then I said, well, maybe that's a more moral. Okay, folks, I'm being creepy on purpose.
Well, because then it becomes, all right, if you were going to, like, I don't know, program a girlfriend, and I mean artificial life, then it's just basically a product of you. You're the one that conjured up, I don't know, the personality, the things that Bill Burr does a bit on this, and I'm not going to repeat that one on the air. But it's basically a reflection of you So what would it, it's just this idea, this whole idea of, again, humanizing them and becoming, that's the one thing that somebody made the point. Elon Musk is doing a lot in robotics and AI and everything else. And, his case is that he's making, because, he has a company that's going to try and sell that stuff, is that it will be doing, those things will be doing stuff around your house, right? They'll be assisting with things, washing the dishes and everything else. And then someone made the case, well, we already have a robot dishwasher. It's called a dishwasher. And I thought, wow, okay, because we already kind of automate, back in the day, if you wanted to, and I still remember my grandmother, she had a tub in the backyard. She would go out there, she would do the laundry in that tub. She would put it through the wringer. Mm-hmm. That's probably where that came from. And then wring it out and hang it on the line. She loved washing those clothes with her hands, first of all, because my grandfather worked in the cattle industry, and none of those clothes were going to be washed in her washing machine. But she did a lot of her laundry by hand. Well, we have washing machines. We have washing machines that'll send you a text now. We have microwave ovens that will send you a text. I don't know what's going on in your life that you need to spend the next 3 minutes at the most watching that TV show and not standing in front of the microwave while it works for you. But we have all this technology, these robots, basically, that are already doing things in your life. And the humanoid-type robots probably won't be the ones that end up. I mean, the vacuum cleaners, which, quite frankly, are crap, I think.
By the way, I was just thinking of that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I bought one time, and I went, these are crap.
Yeah, no, they're horrible.
It's much easier just to take the vacuum cleaner on and go, I got it done, and you move away.
It won't come close to what I do on my own floor.
I know. I cannot believe you were thinking of that. That's what was on my mind.
I have an obsession with floors, and I think it comes from having grandchildren, because when they're babies, they crawl around on those floors and ew. So I would never, I'm not a fan of those robot vacuum cleaners. They're just, again, they're crap. But the idea is you've got robots already integrated doing certain chores, now, if they can learn to cook, good luck with that. But, really actually cook from scratch, you might be onto something. But this idea of giving robots rights, and again, it goes back, at least a couple of decades, that robots will have rights or should have rights, and we should treat them now we introduce this idea, very liberal idea. We should treat them this way so they don't hurt us. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stick my hand in the back of their neck and turn the switch off if they try to hurt me.
Yeah, we already had iRobot, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
That movie was already out.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because when you mention it, I've just got it in the last couple of months, and it's wonderful. Now, there's the crap models, but I have a self-contained lithium-ion battery pool floor cleaner now.
Okay.
With a filter of its own and everything else, so you don't have to keep, especially during the wintertime, take the hose, and put it in and do the crawl around there. And the chlorine eats up all those crawlers, by the way, if you keep it in any length of time.
Right.
And I found one. It's absolutely wonderful. It cleans. It is wonderful. It's got the fine filter if you need it. So they have they can't do it in a house yet, but underwater in a pool, if your pool is relatively flat. Now, if it's not relatively flat, it's going to cost you. Some of these pool things are $3,000. I'm like, no, I'm not paying that.
Yeah,
but mine, I think, was about $400, and I've had it probably for about 4 months. I only have to use it probably once a week.
Yeah.
And this thing crawls right up. Will do all the walls. It'll actually do the top of it. The top right at where the tile is, and crawl all the way along the pool and do that. And the thing lasts about 3 hours, even in cold water.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so they figured out how to do it underwater, but for your house, useless.
Right. Yeah. I don't know why. It seems like it would be a simple task, but it kind of roams around endlessly, and then, oh, I'm out of battery, and runs back to its charger.
But yeah, I wanted to do a little bit of nostalgia. You know, it's the Christmas season, and you think back. And so when I saw that headline in National Review, "Robots Should Not Have Rights," it just immediately brought me back to the warm feeling when you and I started working 20 years ago, and that was like something that went on, I don't know, for about 6 months or so. Always different articles. Well, they should have rights. They shouldn't have rights. And you and I just said, I can't imagine sitting there talking, when in 2056, when I'll be 101 years of age, about whether robots will have rights. I'll need to get out of talk radio by that time.
Well, you know who started that? And really kind of was at the pinnacle of his political career, Mitt Romney, because he's a robot and been pushing for rights since the beginning.
Did you ever see The Last Man Standing?
No, you told me about it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, where they're driving in the car.
Yeah.
And Tim,
I've been saying that for at least 20 years.
Yeah. He goes, Mitt Romney's a robot. I'm like, oh my! I screamed at the TV. Oh my! Jesus, wow. If you ever one of the best Last Men Standing, I woke up and turned on the TV and it was on the Halloween party where he dresses up as Trump.
Yeah,
it's a great episode. It's my favorite episode of that show.
I got to see it.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at J.J. Keller. Compliance, Safety, Accountability is the FMCSA Safety, Compliance, and Enforcement Program. Its goal is to hold motor carriers and drivers accountable for highway safety. CSA does this by assessing the safety performance of motor carriers and drivers. Motor carriers are assigned a score. The carrier is then grouped with other carriers who have had a similar number of safety events. Carrier scores within the group are then ranked. Low scores are better. So carriers with the highest scores are those that are most likely to be targeted for intervention by the FMCSA. Interventions range in severity and may include warning letters, roadside, off-site, or on-site inspections, civil penalties, or operation out-of-service orders. This tip was brought to you by J.J. Keller & Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We're Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Cronin. I'm Gary McNamara. Hello. All right, here's the headline. We'll get to the details and specifics of it here in a little bit, but the House GOP health care package will exclude ACA subsidy extension. House GOP leaders will bring a vote next week on a package of health care bills that does not include an extension of the expiring Obamacare enhanced subsidies.
All right.
And I believe you will have one that does in the Senate. As you and I have said, what is the compromise on that? Because the fear that we have is that this thing will go to the end of January. The sob stories will be put on about how the Republicans now, because there is no shutdown.
Right.
But if you do get a shutdown, Democrats will say, well, it's justifiable because the Republicans want to take your subsidies away from you.
Right.
But what specifically will be in the bill, we'll get to that coming up following the bottom of the hour, because the fact that, and we said this in October, Republicans, you haven't agreed on a deal now? Why didn't you agree on a deal over the summer?
Well, I don't think I ever heard the word framework, which you and I always laugh at. We have the framework and blah, 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 which always means nothing. But at least back in October, you could have said the word framework, and I would have said, okay, well, at least they're starting. But it seems like they're just getting started. It seems like they looked up and said, oh, December 10th.
Right.
Oh, we didn't get, oh, my gosh, my homework's due today.
Well, Johnson said this, it will reduce premiums for 100% of Americans who are on health insurance. We'll go through that coming up on the bottom of the hour.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio. Season's greetings from the Uniden America Studios.
Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. All right. Everyone knows that's the Santa Claus from A Christmas Story.
It's the cadence in which he delivers the hose.
Ho,
Ho, ho, ho. Which is brilliant.
Did you know that the director, I can't think of it was Bob something, the director had to kick Gene Shepard, who wrote it.
Yeah.
And actually narrated it.
Yeah.
Had to kick him off the set. And he is the guy that when they're standing in line to go on the slide, the guy in the beard.
Yeah.
That's
right.
He's the one he wrote. He kept telling, what's his name? Oh, the kid, I got mind blank. What's his name again? Peter Billingsley.
Yeah.
He would keep telling him what to do, and finally the director came out and said, "You're out of here. You got to go.
Yeah.
You can't be here anymore."
Right.
Because he didn't like the way that the movie was being directed. It's like,
yeah.
But that's ho ho ho. All right, here we go. Healthcare.
Okay.
First off, this story came out early this morning, just to show you how things evolved during the day. Moderate and vulnerable Republicans, this is from thehill.com, are attempting for a long-shot revolt against their leaders in the House over health care. They are trying to force a vote to extend the enhanced Obamacare subsidies that the GOP leaders are declining to bring up, and that moderates warn that will cost Republicans in the midterms. House Republican leaders said Wednesday morning that they will hold a vote next week on a package of health care reforms that have broad support from the GOP members, but that legislation will not include a measure to extend the expiring subsidies that many conservative Republicans fiercely oppose. Just hours later, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, a Republican from Pennsylvania, filed a discharge petition to try to bypass leadership and force a vote on a bill to extend the enhanced subsidies for 2 years with new income limits and anti-fraud measures similar to other plans in the House and the Senate. And, he's got co-sponsors with Democrats on that particular bill. This is personal to a lot of us. These are our friends and our neighbors that are losing sleep over this, so we have no time, no patience for the BS politics that sometimes consumes this place. This is real life. Well, look, I think you made the point yesterday that, and I think, believe it or not, I actually think you made a decent point.
I'm not so sure about that. I don't have the confidence you do.
I mean, because I agree with you on it. I probably said it, but you said it yesterday in the discussion, and you said they had their chance in 2017.
Yeah.
They had their chance to do it.
Yeah. Look at the entire range of Obamacare. Look in the entire timeline. And now here at the end of 2025, just days left in 2025. After all this time, you decide we're going to do something about Obamacare. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You didn't then, and you're not now. Oh, I don't know. Starting Monday, I'm going to eat better. No, you're not. I have zero confidence in the GOP. You got to pretend like you're going to put on a fight. Where is that? Where is that fight? Where's that fight been since the beginning of all of this? Again, we go back to 2017 because in 2016, the GOP was screaming, we're going to just completely undo Obamacare. It's going to be gone. In 2017, and here's why, by the way, they didn't undo it completely in 2017, because their own constituents, and I mean GOP rank and file, were telling them, don't do it.
Right. Keep Obamacare, get rid of the mandates.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But here it is. To force a vote on this, the petition would require 218 signatures amounting to a majority of the House, which means a significant number of Democrats would have to sign the petition to force the vote. Well, why can't they get 218 for that? Because you would think that Democrats would jump on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, income limits down to 200,000 and anti-fraud measures, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
But if it keeps illegal immigrants out, we don't care, even though we're Democrats, because we want to be able to sell to the American public that actually gets to vote that we're going to make it so somebody else will take care of their health care costs for them.
Right.
The reason is it is not clear they will get support since House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is pushing his own petition to extend the subsidies for 3 years without any reforms. So Democrats are sitting there going, look, the public want Obamacare is at its highest level of approval right now.
Yeah.
And the reason is that people don't have to pay the full cost
Right.
for their health care.
Right.
Other people are picking it up.
Right. And this again, this game of, well, we're going to go in and we're going to bring these costs down and we're going to. No, you're not.
Well,
because you're not going to change that between now and the end of January when you get to another shutdown.
Well, you've got Mike Johnson, came out and said, let me just see here, the House GOP healthcare package, according to the speaker that will come out next week, will not extend any of the Obamacare subsidies. But he said here, you're going to see a package come together that will be on the floor next week that will actually reduce premiums for 100% of Americans who are health insurance. But that package is not set to include any measure to extend subsidies that expire at the end of the year. You could cut, let's say they come up with a plan that's more competitive and they can cut premiums, which would be huge, 20%.
Yeah.
But there's no subsidies, and so you're going to have to pay what you weren't paying before. The public doesn't care about the 20%.
Right.
This thing was decided, you were absolutely right, in 2017 when Republicans said, we love Obamacare because we don't have to pay the full cost. Somebody else does. We don't like the mandates. Don't mandate anything, but subsidize the daylights out of it.
Right.
So we pay a lot less for health care.
That's right.
We are a nation now where the pathology of dependency has grown, where you cannot I hope, by the way, I hope I'm wrong, because if they can force this through. This is one of the issues where I would come back in February and say, I was wrong. I was wrong. They got it done. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I'd be shouting to the heavens that I was wrong.
But you won't be.
But the fact is, the Republican Party is no longer a fiscally conservative party. You have fiscal conservatives left, but it's not the majority of the party anymore, and that was proven in 2017.
I'm old enough to remember Doge.
Yeah?
I'm old enough to remember a discussion about fiscal responsibility and fiscal sanity. I'm old enough to remember almost a euphoria that had grown because of Doge and how we were finally going to get our step together as a nation fiscally, and no, we can't do that. And also, we're not sure what we're going to do on health care. It's the end of December? Yeah, well, get back to us next week.
Remember, we would get our own audience. We said, look, you're not going to be able to balance the budget.
No.
You're not going to cut $2 trillion.
No.
You're not going to cut $1 trillion.
Nope.
People were furious at us for saying
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
And it's just like...
No, I mean, they were carrying that flag,
Yeah.
that really bad math flag for the longest time. And that's, I mean, I guess you could call that euphoria. That's why I said this, almost kind of euphoric approach.
It's the ignorance that the American public, including a significant number of Republicans, have right now. And when you see the polling, that you've got Americans that believe that we can cut 40% of the budget. We went through the point by point on it about a month ago. On the latest polling numbers out there, Americans believe that we can cut 40% off the budget. But the only thing that Americans are unified on, well, not really, because it's like 51, 52%, the only thing that the majority of the public wishes to cut
Foreign aid.
Foreign aid, that's it.
Yeah.
And Trump made it clear last week, and Rubio made it clear last week. Well, we're not really going to cut foreign aid,
Right.
but you said
We
you were
need
going
foreign
to.
aid.
No, we need foreign aid because we need to we need people to agree with us on international issues, and so we need to have foreign aid. Well, that's the opposite of what Trump was saying just a year and a half ago. We need to get rid of foreign aid. Everybody's jumping out to get rid of foreign aid. Foreign aid. Spend that money with Americans,
right?
And we can balance the budget. And we said, no, you can't.
No, you can't.
And the only reason is we've studied the budget. We know it's in the budget,
right?
And in order to cut, when they first came up with $2 trillion, or even if you cut $1 trillion, you still got the $1 trillion in interest that's not going to go away, that you'd have to cut everything except Social Security, Medicare, and the military.
Yeah.
And that's not happening.
No.
And so, and it's like we live, and ignorance does not mean stupid. Ignorance means you don't have a clue as to what the makeup of the budget is.
Right.
And what the federal government, how large it's actually grown. And so you were absolutely right. The Republicans had their chance, and the Republican voter made it clear to Trump and the Republicans when they had both the House and the Senate again back in 2017, get rid of the mandates, keep Obamacare.
Yep. And in January, here's what you're going to see. Liberal activist media talking to families, some of whom have a family member in the hospital with no coverage. They need the coverage to save their lives. And Republicans are trying to kill people. This is how this is all going to play out. And again, I'm not a proponent of this madness, but I am a realist when I see the entire landscape of nobody carrying, virtually nobody, with the exception of a handful of us, care about $38 trillion in debt.
No, we say we do, but we actually don't.
We don't. Nobody's screaming about it. It's all about me, 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 me. You know, they said the 80s, I think somebody said the 80s was the me generation. Oh, please.
But that also happens when you don't have expendable cash.
Yep.
The inflation we've seen over the last 5 years, people become desperate, and so they're not the long-term fiscal outlook of the country. What are you out of your mind? I can't make it through next week. I saw some of the economic indicators out over there. Did you see the quitting rate is way down?
Mm-hmm.
People aren't quitting their jobs.
Because you don't have a place to go.
You don't, and so people are staying in. More people are staying in their jobs. I saw that report come out the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the quitting index,
and hiring is way down.
So, and so people are hanging on to their jobs. Or when you're trying to survive week to week, it's like $38 trillion. It doesn't mean anything to anybody.
No,
we've always been in debt. I need this now.
No, that's what everybody. Again, when you're underwater, the first thing they taught us in lifeguard training was when someone is drowning, they're going to do everything they can to get air. That means they're going to pull you under and try and get on top of you so they can get to the air. They don't. When people are underwater, they'll do anything. They're desperate, and that's economically where we are as a nation right now. And if you throw in healthcare in the mix in January during flu season, good luck.
People that are fiscally irresponsible, many of them in the marketplace, if they are actually held accountable, a lot of them will straighten up. Not all. Some people file bankruptcy, whatever, and there's still irresponsible spenders, out there. Mm-hmm. But when you have fiscal irresponsibility in a government where it's not their own money, fiscal irresponsibility only leads to more fiscal irresponsibility.
Oh, yeah.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Well, we were right on our guest yesterday, quarter a point on the Fed.
Yeah, I didn't really. I was kind of on the fence. I didn't know whether they would do it or not because the board had been split For a while, it seemed like the story was out there since their last meeting that, the board was really hedging on, didn't know whether they were going to, move or not. A quarter of a point, I think with the unemployment situation right now, with the way the job situation is right now, a quarter of a point, I think, is justified. It's Jerome Powell is the issue that I have. I think President Trump shares that issue much larger reason. But you then look at January and they're like, well, we'll just have to wait and see for January. But I think if the job situation is just like it is now in January, which it could be a little bit worse, then we might see another quarter of a point.
Isn't the debate, though, about should we be jump-starting the economy or lowering inflation?
Yeah,
that was really the debate I saw from economists.
Well, it was, but jobs was a big thing right there for the Fed itself.
Top of the hour news is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. So, I had one of my best friends yesterday.
Yeah.
Got in a conversation with him. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, and just to preface it, he's voted for Trump, every time.
Okay.
Has done rallies for Trump. Has rallies for Trump. Has done a couple of boating parades for Trump.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Absolutely, you consider him if you're looking at loyal Trump supporters from a 1 to a 10, I'll say
he's an 11.
Well, okay, 10 would be the top. Okay,
right.
I'll say 9.5, and I
Okay.
say 9.5 because this guy's a businessman and he understands economics.
Mine goes to 11.
He told me yesterday. He said Trump needs to shut up. He goes, nobody's buying his economic message, and this was before you had the audio clips and transcript comes out of his speech from Pennsylvania. Wow. Mm-hmm. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
You can give up certain this is how people can handle the cost. You can give up certain products. You can give up pencils. Every child can get 37 pencils. They only need 1 or 2. They don't need that many. But you always need steel. You don't need $37 for your daughter. 2 or 3 is nice. You don't need $37. By the way, we criticized him when he said that to Kristen Welker back in May on NBC. He said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He also talked about in the speech that affordability is a Democrat hoax, and then later on said, well, it's not a hoax because things are too high, and if prices are too high, and if I call them a hoax, it'll be misconstrued. He doesn't know where to go. He has no idea where to go on this.
I've sensed that, and I told you this on, and I think on and off the air, I've said that it sounds like Scott Bessent is doing a bit of scrambling. Because we're getting to the point now of the next thing to come down is the decision from SCOTUS on tariffs. And when Ramaswamy put out the affordability video that really just seemed to be the match that ignited the word affordable with the GOP, when that started taking off, you started seeing actions from the Trump administration, including over 200 exemptions on food items when it comes to tariffs. Now you see the $12 billion package for farmers. You see, again, and this is what we have said over the years, don't pay as much attention to what Trump is saying as opposed to what he is doing. You'll know what he is thinking by what he is doing. You'll know what the concerns are. But now it's so all over the place. What was it? National Review or Wall Street Journal? The list of contradictions that Trump had. I'll have to go back and find the article. But it's scrambling, and I sensed that from Scott Bessent for the first time last week. That they don't know where to go. Now, I'm sure they have some kind of contingency plan on whatever happens with SCOTUS. If it goes this way, we're going to do this. If it goes that way, we're going to do this. But when he's talking the way he's talking, and it's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Yeah.
It doesn't result in anything, because here's the thing. We always say, well, the current president is the head of their party. Now, I'm not sure I could say that about Joe Biden while he was president. But
sure he was. They all followed him. They followed him.
They defended him.
They defended him all the way to the end.
But Donald Trump really has a great control of his party, except on this one thing, and it's the big thing. And this is the problem. In his first term, there were so many great results of what he was doing. And you saw it. Everything was going great. We'd all love to go back to 2018, 2019 economy. People would love to go back to that. Well, the Democrats screwed that up. He was right. That was the one thing he said the other day that was on point, is that the inflation was caused by the Democrats and their action. We know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to, again, something else we said, and that is the faulty, really horrible campaign promise that you make that, well, day one, I'm going to lower prices. You can't say that. That's like that right there sounds like Obama saying, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Because it's not going to happen if you say we're going to work on the rate of inflation, if you say we're going to work to bring your buying power back every single day. These are the only promises he ever needed to make. And he gets, I won't say a pass, but he gets credit for simply recognizing the issues and staying on the issues on everything he did in 2016. He did again in 2024. He's really great at it. You don't ever have to imply that you're going to lower prices. That was a huge misstep, in my opinion. And now you can't deliver. And again, the reason you can't deliver on that is because if inflation is at the target rate of 2%, it means on the average, prices are still going to go up from where they are at 2% every year. And now it's so all over the place. And the point about him being in charge of his party on everything, here is a guy who has shown tremendous leadership skills. And I kind of balk at that word, leadership, but he's demonstrated it on so many fronts.
You can make the case that 8 out of the 10 top issues, the public is right behind him.
Yes,
because the polling shows it.
Right.
But the one thing, politics 101, it's the economy, stupid.
Yeah.
And the economy, to most people, right now, because, yes, it was because of the Democrats and Biden that caused it to happen.
Yep.
Nobody is doubting that at all.
Right.
But the fact is, the good things that he has done, the deregulation for companies and everything else, it's not working because they don't know what the tariff situation is going to be.
Right.
They don't know what to do. So the great things that Trump has done, even with deregulation and other things that he has done, you're not seeing the benefit of it, or the benefit of it is being taken away by the tariffs.
Right.
It doesn't the public doesn't care when you say we're the richest nation in the world now because foreign companies are paying the tariffs, which they're not. It's American companies. That's what one of the things that really infuriated a couple of my friends, saying we're not idiots.
Mm-hmm.
We know American companies are being taxed. Don't do this. Don't treat us like we're idiots.
Right.
Don't lie to us.
Right.
But then the other day with the speech, that could not have been on the teleprompter. There's no way on the teleprompter any Republican writer writes that because of high prices, you, the American consumer, need to buy less of what you wish to buy.
Right.
You can't do that as a Republican. He's done it twice now, because just the things that, the memes that come out of it. One of my saw, I go, it's effective. A ballroom for me, only one pencil for thee.
Yeah. And it's the imagery of it.
It's the imagery of it. You're telling.
There's nothing, in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with the ballroom thing.
But, there's nothing wrong with it.
But when you couple it with this Bernie type attitude, you don't need all the deodorants. We don't need all this.
And that was, Bernie was mentioned. You go on social media. What is he becoming, Bernie Sanders? Next thing is, you want to limit the amount of products that we have here. This is so Bernie Sanders.
He's telling families that are underwater to control their spending, and that's an insult.
Yeah.
And we could sit here all day and say, yeah, but how many of them have the latest iPhone? How many of them have the... You're not looking at the political reality, because the political reality is, if they can't afford something, they're already making the decision between how many pencils they buy and clothes or groceries or whatever it is. And this is where, again, we talked about it. We talked about it during the Biden years. Parents are at this point right now. We're coming up on the 15th. Growing up as a kid, that was always the key part of the Christmas season. My dad got paid on the 15th. It's the day we got a tree, and it's the day Mom went shopping. And we all knew it. 5 kids. We all knew it. That part of it hasn't changed for a lot of families. And they're looking at it going, yeah, no, they're already making choices. They're already controlling their spending because they don't really have a choice. And you see credit lines that, and it was Jamie Dimon that talked about this, after the government handouts during COVID, all that stuff was depleted. And once those savings were gone, then it became, all right, people are going to up their credit lines, and they're going to, next thing you know, max out their credit lines. And so, again, you're telling people who right now are already making choices, pretty tough choices, to control their spending.
When the president is telling you what you need, you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And when you're a Republican president, you don't need this, so don't buy it. If prices are too high, don't buy this, don't buy that. You don't need that many this, you don't need that. You don't. American president, Republican president telling you because prices are high, well, then you need to buy less. I mean, it was the most bizarre thing I've seen. And then, like I said, with the affordability, all he's been talking about, the affordability hoax, and then, the affordability hoax, it's from the Democrats. A couple of paragraphs later, well, it's not really a hoax because things are really expensive, and I shouldn't call it a hoax because they'll misconstrue it. It's just like those things cannot be on the teleprompter.
Which that moment right there of walking that back,
yep,
tells you that They are scrambling.
They don't know what to do.
And they don't know what
They
to
don't
do.
know.
Because there wasn't ever going to be any plan that was going to bring prices down. We've only seen true deflation one time. It was during the Great Depression. And so the only promise you make is we're going to work every day to bring back your buying power. We're going to come in and do what we did before. It's a larger mountain to climb because of the chaos that the Democratic Party, led by Joe Biden, created with record inflation for a generation. We understand how steep of a hill this is, and we're going to climb it every single day. And we'll get on top of it if it's the last thing I do. That's all you have to do politically, because everybody is with you. Remember, the polls showed, it was, I think, February, that most people said, all right, we'll give you about 6 months. It was unrealistic for anyone to ever believe prices were going to come down and we were going to see true deflation. That was an unrealistic thought for any rank and file voter out there, period. You can't. It shows the ignorance on how an economy works. But if that's where you take them along and you say, listen, it's still going to be 2%. If we do everything right, it's still going to be 2% a year. What we're going to do, we're going to expand that economy. We're going to expand your buying power as a family. We're going to give you more control. That gives you more freedom. And we're going to create more jobs so that people are vying for you, that employers are competing for you, which is going to up wages and everything else. This is our goal. We're going to work every single day, nonstop, to achieve that goal. And that's why I'm becoming president. This is why I'm here.
It's too late now. Because that's what he should. That's what
no, that's what I'm saying.
That's what he should have done.
This is what should have been said in 2024.
I hated, and whenever I watched the movie Miracle, because they have Jimmy Carter's Malay speech, that it's basically your fault for what you're doing.
Yeah.
This didn't go that far at all. But the fact is, it hinted of it when he said, you don't need stuff. American public, you don't need this. You don't need this. Don't buy so much. Unbelievable that that's where Trump is at now, not even a year into his second term.
And it's also recognition that he admits that things are unaffordable because you need to control your spending in order to mitigate the fact that things are unaffordable.
We are Red Eye Radio.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
The connection between USDA's recently announced regenerative ag pilot program and production and availability of healthier foods for consumption. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins Wednesday told reporters beyond soil health improvements at the farm level through Natural Resources Conservation Service programs when it comes to healthy food access and education.
Using the Sustains Act, we will bring corporate, label, and supply chain partners directly into partnership with NRCS, supporting regenerative agriculture adoption, farmer recognition, and consumer education. Because success depends on strong partnerships, we will expand work through our technical service providers and local organizations to meet demand.
Also, the Office of Urban Ag and Innovative Production, under NRCS purview,
will extend regenerative priorities into cities and urban areas and urban communities, and many of those places are those that are facing the most severe crisis regarding nutritious foods and access to nutritious foods.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We're Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. The interesting thing is on the whole pencil thing, it's like everybody's trying to figure out what the hell is he talking about. China makes pencils, Germany makes pencils, the United States still makes pencils. We have companies in Tennessee and New Jersey using local cedar. They import the graphite because we don't have a lot of graphite here. Japan, Brazil, and Mexico. But if you've got tariffs on all these countries, it makes the U.S. manufacturers,
Right.
more competitive to sell pencils. You'd want people to buy pencils.
Right.
Why Trump is telling people not to buy pencils when his own tariffs will make United States companies more profitable.
Yeah.
And if you continue to, and even if you're buying it from foreign manufacturers, the more you buy, the more money he raises, which is helping us to become the richest country ever.
Right.
As he is promoting. None of it makes sense. It's a mismatch of gobbledygook, a blah, 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 yada, yada,
again,
yada.
within that same conversation saying, well, okay, I probably shouldn't call it a hoax. There's recognition here that they're scrambling, and they've got a huge issue.
Catch Red Eye Radio live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I just love New York Times. Biden caused the Biden border crisis. It's like, thank you for coming aboard now. now they did, as National Review pointed out, you notice Mayorkas wasn't a part of the story, they said. But it was
interesting.
Now they didn't go as far as that headline is, I think, a little bit misleading because they didn't say it's like Biden caused it, but it wasn't an accident. It was the Democrats' plan to open the border and allow illegal immigrants to come into the country.
It was his
plan.
It was his campaign promise.
Right. It was his campaign promise. So, and they're like, thanks, New York Times, for finally starting to recognize some of this that's like, we don't know, almost 5 years old.
Yeah. Way to get on board.
Thanks for jumping on board. The other thing is, did you see, and she's got a lot of publicity. We talked about her once. Did you see the former Bravo reality star Jennifer Welch, who now the Democrats, this is like, we finally got our Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God, she's an idiot. Did you hear she said that Elon Musk is an immigrant and he pays no taxes? That's her latest rant.
Yeah. Yeah.
He paid more taxes than anybody in history.
Yep.
She hit. She was probably talking about Tesla not paying taxes 1 year. By the way, if she's trying to say that companies shouldn't get subsidies as Tesla did, we agree with her on that. We never agreed with the EV subsidies, and neither does Trump.
Right.
So, and neither does, and that's the other thing too. I mean, there's so many things. I get frustrated with Trump because he's done so many good things, and we pointed that out, constantly, especially for foreign relations. But the problem is, and we said it from day one, if he's going to put tariffs on, it is going to always have inflationary pressure up. If you don't want to call it inflation, because inflation's only over 2%. Okay, prices will always not go down unless you have a recession.
Right.
And we've stated that many times. Unless you have a major recession, and for the White House, they come out about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. See, long-term tariffs reduces prices. Oh, you want to explain to the American public the entire study? It's because the economy crashes, people can't afford to buy anything, and therefore prices go down.
They stop buying dolls and pencils.
Right. And so, but he's done so well on so many things. This isn't a thing, and we don't get, again, we used to get pushback. We don't anymore because Republicans and conservatives aren't stupid. They know.
Right.
And we said, and I can imagine early on, well, I go along to maybe it will work, whatever. Mm-hmm. No. Sorry. Economics only goes one way.
Well, I think a lot of people were convinced, again, it's just there are so many different possibilities, but I think there's a number of people that were convinced or maybe hoping that it was only a negotiation tactic, that the whole tariff thing was going to go away. See, this is because we would see that when there would be a response, like, okay, well then, the other country responded to this. See, tariffs work. And it's like, okay, we understand the, whole art of the deal thing in negotiating, but he is going to stay on the tariffs, and they're trying to find their sweet spot on tariffs, which I really deemed the Laffer curve of tariffs, of how much you could do and get away with. And we're seeing that. And also the fact that the economy had not then, and still has not, I believe, fully absorbed the impact on tariffs yet. We're not seeing it day to day. It's a mix of all the above. It's jobs, it's prices, and that's how the economy does it. The economy has to absorb it at some level. And then when things start, and again, we've talked about it with jobs and everything else going on right now, you're seeing that, and I think you're going to see that further if nothing changes.
Here's where we are. Trump can be right on 9 out of 10 issues. He can have the public with him on 9 out of 10 issues. If they don't have you on the economy and prices, the rest don't matter. It's that simple.
Right.
One of the reasons Mamdani was elected in New York City is because he promised to bring prices down based on having other people pay for what you want.
Right.
And the public is sort of there right now. Well, okay, well, it doesn't work unless the government forces somebody. The rich need to pay for what we want today. That's where the public is. That's why. Yeah. That's one of the reasons Mamdani won.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that Democrats are doing. That's why the Republicans are going to have such a hard time on the health care. We're going to bring premiums down. Yeah, but are you going to, those premiums, are you going to continue the subsidies? If you cut the subsidies completely and you bring premiums down, that still means the person that has that health care has to pay more. That's all they care about. Mm-hmm. They don't care if premiums come down.
Right.
And that's the one thing that really surprised me about the Trump administration is seemingly not to care or even want to deal with the fact that prices matter and repeating the same thing. You're hearing this now. We said this months ago. Hearing the same thing now. I saw a couple of articles yesterday saying Trump is repeating what Biden did. Mm-hmm. And we've said this before. You cannot sit there and tell people that something that is this is where gaslighting comes in. Mm-hmm. Something is self-evident to you. Trump's gaslighting now.
Right.
The same thing that Biden did. The border is secure. And you look at the pictures, mostly peaceful. Those are all examples of gaslighting because you can see the fire in the background.
Right.
And we all knew it. Inflation is transitory for the Biden administration. Remember, Biden, inflation, who was it came out and said inflation is good? Inflation is good because it means when people buy products, it costs them more. Therefore, more money's flowing through the economy. It's like, my God, shut up.
Yep.
But with the 2 days ago, the president talking about don't buy things.
Right.
Don't buy as much.
You're telling people who are losing control of their buying power to control their spending.
But and that's the problem. It's economics 101. It's always the economy stupid. And if you talk to most independents out there and even Democrats across the line to vote for Trump, it was the economy.
Yeah.
It was the economy, the economy, the economy. And for the life of me, that Trump was able to bring along so many conservatives on faulty economics shows you, number one, his political power. But political power means nothing if you can't deliver results.
Right.
And you can be right on 9 out of 10 issues, as Trump is. That one issue will kill your party.
Well, it's the biggest thing.
It's the biggest thing. It's the thing that people feel every single day. And in politics, not to understand that. Because they used to call it the kitchen table issues. It's, damn it, how much money you got to spend.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons you and I have always talked about the fact that we believe that somebody should come to your door. You should pay no payroll taxes at all.
Right.
People should come to your door once a month and say, you need to write a check for this amount and give it to us right now.
Right. Every payday.
Every payday.
Yep.
Because then people feel it.
Yep.
Government loves when stuff is done in a stealth way. As we said, Democrats, the biggest lie that has been successful to them is that corporate taxes, we punish those rich corporations, and they're able to convince the idiots that they're not paying it. We're punishing that bad corporation there, as the poor and the middle class are being hurt the most by paying the stealth taxes because corporations are passing it on to the consumer.
Right.
And it was the exact same thing with tariffs. First, it started out with tariffs. Foreign companies are paying for it. And Republicans that I know that know that's a load of horse manure were out there parroting what the president was saying.
Right. And Scott Bessent was saying, no, it's the importers.
Well, he wasn't in the beginning, but now it took him a little while. But then every time he's interviewed, no.
Well, it's been months now. I mean,
Yeah,
he's been saying it for months. And there's no way around it. The president himself said early on there's going to be pain. And what we were looking for back then was decide what you're going to do on tariffs. Make your point to the American people of why you're doing it and how it's going to work. And stay there. And our point on that was then industry could look at that and say, all right, we can plan around this. Part of the stagnation that you're seeing right now with industry is that they don't know where to go because they don't know what SCOTUS is going to do. And if SCOTUS overturns tariffs, they don't know how the administration will respond. We really don't know. We're in uncharted territory, and the waters are as murky as they can be. So you have a lot of tremendous uncertainty. One of the things that companies do when they invest in order to grow is they hire people. They need humans. And now we're at this point where everyone is just waiting and waiting and waiting. And I think if you did a poll, maybe someone has, of companies, top companies, well, if the tariffs are overturned at SCOTUS, do you believe there will be greater stability for long-term investment from your company? Is there a plan for that? I think half of them would say no, because you got to wait for the response. It's the ebb and flow. It's the tsunami. Oh, the wave receded. We're fine. No, you're not, because it's too unpredictable. And that's the one thing on national security, on geopolitical situations, this president is predictable. He's to the point we can put trust in him. I put all my trust in him as commander-in-chief. But industry can't put trust in him or this administration based on the fact that it's all over the place. It's like it's just bouncing off the walls nonstop, and you don't know where it's going to stop. Therefore, you can't put that investment out there.
You can make a mistake on foreign policy, and as long as it doesn't end up in a world war and people feel that their individual economy is okay, you can get reelected.
Yeah.
You can do the greatest things in the world on the border,
yep,
on law enforcement,
right,
on going after drugs,
mm-hmm,
on foreign policy,
mm-hmm,
on creating peace throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't solve prices, you lose.
Yep. That's
just political reality. And not to have the Republican Party, not to have a recognition on this from day one after what the Biden administration went through. And remember, we were talking about it from day one, and we're getting blasted every single day on it.
It took to November of this year for them to start saying affordability.
Right. And
a year after the last election.
And it's the most self-evident, obvious things in politics, which is prices.
Yes.
And the Republican Party said, we're just going to ignore it.
Right.
It's not just Trump. It's the members of Congress. The same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Let's just go along with it.
Right.
We can't
are.
fight it. Can't fight it because we might be criticized. Well, there are some things worth being criticized for.
Right.
There are some things in the economy and people's individual, because the result is, if this continues, if something doesn't happen and the House and Senate goes to Democrats, everything that Trump does, and he doesn't win in 2028 and Democrats win, everything goes away. We're right back to where we were last year, the year before that, on social issues, on the economy, on debt. All of it is all back again.
With the momentum being on the left for 2028. Can you imagine that? That's a nightmare for me.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. You saw that a great thing that Trump did that has to be mentioned. There's a headline from yesterday: Trump administration serves a final blow to end Biden's student loan program.
Yeah.
People should pay back their student loans. They took them out; they should pay for them.
Yep.
It's that simple. And Trump really was the one that led that one. And, we go back to his first term because people sit there going, "Well, you guys always criticize." No, we don't.
No.
Well, we criticize people that we disagree with, but the greatest thing Trump ever still did, to me, was he alone did it, was the 21% corporate tax rate.
I believe he's
alone.
uniquely qualified, especially when it comes to the economy. This is what is so confounding about the current situation.
Yeah.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.